Well, we are starting to think about putting another crop in the ground here not too far away. And when we do, we start thinking about inputs and all of the rest of it. I'm intrigued by a title that has come across my desk here recently called The Most Powerful Gallon in Agriculture. And we're talking with Sean Nettleton here this morning, BW Fusion agronomist. Sean, thanks for joining us this morning. The last time I was chatting with some of the guys at BW Fusion, we were talking about Agronomy 365 and the comprehensive crop management program that y'all have. So what I'm getting here is that the most powerful gallon in agriculture sort of fits into that whole paradigm.
Absolutely. And the way I always describe it to growers and folks that we work with is that Agronomy 365 and our baseline RX, soil testing program and our 365, in-season program is kind of that jug. It's that container. It's where we start, that foundation, and then the different things that we do fit into that.
You just said the key word, I think, and that is that it all starts, it's got to start with soil analysis and a real in-depth look at what we're dealing with before you can ever answer any of the questions about what's going in the gallon.
Well, I think so. I think, I guess we look at that as being kind of our rifle approach, right? If we're a company that doesn't build everything off of what your soil can provide you, what your soil can give, and what your plants are telling us, then we're not doing anything more than shotgun blast, right? We're just taking a shot and hope we hit something when we recommend a product. If we know what's going on in your fields, in your plants, then it's much easier for us to build you a program that it fits the needs of what you're experiencing.
So I'm kind of getting the specific definition of what the most powerful gallon in agriculture is. Great name, by the way, but I'm presuming that we're talking about what we need to mix in the tank for optimum results?
Sure. And it's not just, I think that's the glory of it is, it's not, product specific. I'm not sitting here naming products to put in that gallon. It's a concept of doing what's right and utilizing a mix of products that fit an actual need. So I think you're exactly right.
Well, it sounds like from your definition and your explanation here that pretty much anybody who is farming is a candidate to take a look at this most powerful gallon in agriculture you guys are working with at BW Fusion. But what are some of the things you're hearing from customers who have gone down this road?
Well, I think it's, I think we look at it from a perspective of making life a little bit simpler. We're really trying to get that rifle approach. And I think what customers appreciate is, hey, we're going to get those soils or we'll get those tissues, whichever direction that grower wants to go. And I think they have confidence, especially, you look at the commodity prices today and what we're kind of starting to experience going into 24, that we're trying to make most efficient use of that dollar that they're going to spend. And I think guys appreciate that when they see what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that was kind of the takeaway I was getting from our conversation here is that one of the expectations has got to be maybe at the very least savings on some of those inputs. But the other thing is we're talking so much about conservation these days. The last thing we want to do, particularly when it comes to spending money, is putting on too much where we don't really have to. So, getting that in-depth soil analysis really, again, seems to be that starting point. Understanding more about what's going on gives us a better indication as to what to put on, how much.
I think that's exactly it. We always kind of joke and say that the old school, the mindset that a lot of us came up, utilizing or learning about was, we kind of call it the moron approach. And I don't mean that anyone is not meaning anyone is a moron, but,
right.
But it's, the more we apply, the more we get. And I think, what we've learned is, quite frankly, it seems that the opposite happens. And so whether that's trying to stimulate a plant or just adding more nitrogen or more fertilizer, doesn't generally mean that we're going to have more yield to sell at the end of the day. And you're right, conservation. So it's about being efficient with our dollars. If I can grow, just as an example, if I can grow a bushel on a half a pound of nitrogen, I save money over applying the traditional 1.2 pounds of nitrogen per bushel. So it's about conservation. It's about being efficient. We want to increase yields. And sometimes when we're more efficient, we actually do better than when we just go out there and sling things on, spread that fertilizer at high rates and apply more to get more. That's kind of the concept.
So guys there is listening to this and thinking, well, that sounds pretty doggone good. Where do I find out more about it?
Sure. Find us at bw-fusion.com. And we've also got a landing page specific to this most powerful gallon in agriculture. That would be bw-fusion.com/MPGA. MPGA.
Sean Nettleton, BW Fusion agronomist, thanks so much for your time this morning, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Podcasts by Federated Media.